Now here we have the hardware configuration for the phone. The model number is Iris X1. It has got an ARM V7 processor clocked at 1.2 GHz. It is a quad-core CPU, and again the chipset is not mentioned as far as the hardware is concerned. When we take a look over here on the display resolution, it is having a display resolution of 418 to 854. You have a Video Core 4 hardware GPU on this device, and it is OpenGL ES 2.0. When we take a look over the sensors, we have limited set of sensors on this device, which includes a 3-axis accelerometer sensor, light sensor and proximity sensor. These are the same kind of sensor which we have seen on Moto E if we compare the Moto E as of now in terms of sensors with this device, whereas the Micromax Unite 2 is having a largest number of sensor out of all these three devices. The Micromax Unite 2 does have a magnetic field sensor as well, whereas the magnetic field sensor is missing on these two devices. But that does not mean that you cannot use navigation on the Moto E or on Lava Iris X1. You can use that. And again over here, if we take a look over those sensors, we have accelerometer sensor, light sensor and proximity sensor. Whereas if we take a look over the Micromax Unite 2, I can show you the system information over here, and this device in terms of sensors is higher as compared to these two devices, which just has these three top sensors, whereas this device has an orientation and a magnetometer sensor as well as compared to these two devices, which is again something which is better on Micromax Unite 2. The score which we have gotten quadrant standard for this device is 3012, which is lower than the score which we have seen on the Micromax Unite 2, and again slightly on the same lines which the score which we have seen on the Moto E. So in terms of score, if we take a look over the detailed score of this device, the CPU is 8450, memory is 1376, input output operation is 2176, 2D is 324, 3D is 2376. Again, the overall score of this device is not that great, but the overall day-to-day usage which I have done with this device, I can say that this device is pretty good for day-to-day usage. The score on AnTuTu which we have got for this device is 9907, which is again lesser than the score which we have seen on the Micromax Unite 2. I can show you the score for the AnTuTu on the Unite 2. This device has given a score of 16709, whereas the Lava Iris X1 has got a score of 9907. And if we compare the score with the Motorola Moto E, I can show you the score of AnTuTu for the Moto E as well. And over here again we installed this application. Okay, so we have the score for the Moto E as well. In terms of the score, if I actually compare these three devices, this one is lowest in terms of the score which we have seen, but in day-to-day usage all three devices are good enough to be used. When it comes to multi-touch, this device supports 2-point multi-touch. When we compare it with the Unite 2, we can say that this device on the other hand supports 2-point multi-touch again. So these two devices support 2-point multi-touch. If we compare it with the Moto E, on the Moto E we have 5-point multi-touch which is supported on this device. I do not have this application as of now, I guess. Okay, I have this application over here, and on the Moto E you have 5-point multi-touch, on Lava Iris X1 you have 2-point, and on the Canvas Unite 2 you also have 2-point multi-touch. The score on Ninamark which we have got on this device is 48.3 FPS, which is again a decent score. I'm going to test the overall gaming performance of this device. I'm going to play some games in front of you and also going to give you my view. If I compare the score as of now only on the basis of score, we can see that the score which we have seen on Moto E is 47.6 FPS, which is again kind of closer to this one in terms of the Ninamark score, and this device has the best Ninamark score. Again, I have played heavy games, graphic intensive game, casual games, all those kind of games have actually run quite perfectly fine and smoothly on this device as compared to the Moto E. And now we are going to compare the overall performance with the Lava Iris X1. So let's start playing some game and I can show you the performance after. So now we are playing this game called Temple Run OZ, and this game is a casual graphic intensive game. The kind of graphics which I can see are good enough, not too great, but again I can see the reflection of the player. The response from the touchscreen is also quite instant. There is no problem while playing this game till now. There is a slight amount of frame drops which I can see, but again that is not a big issue. The gravity sensor on the device is also working well when I'm playing this game, so you can play this game quite smoothly without any issues on this device, as you can see. So So now we are playing this game called Frontline Commando D-Day, and I can access all the controls on the screen. As far as aiming is concerned, there is no problem. I can easily aim and shoot. So all the touchscreen controls of the game are visible. There is no issue with that. Graphics are also kind of okay. I can notice some amount of frame drops which are happening, but still I can play this game quite nicely without much of an issue, as you can see. So now we are playing this game called Blood and Glory, and this game is running fine without any problem as far as graphics are concerned. As you can see, I can easily play this game on this device without any issues.
Soli Imperium Gloria!
So in terms of graphics and the touchscreen response, this game is running quite fine without any issues. This is an HD game, and again this is running quite smoothly on this device, which is quite good. And the overall graphics on this device are being handled very nicely when I'm playing this game till now. Again, I'm not a very good player of this game, so won't be able to play that smoothly, but still, as far as graphics are concerned, it is good and there is no issue at all.